Boom, boom, boom. The trio. What is going on? New cast, but nevertheless, part of the Newbie verse here, joined by Vancouver Comic Junkie and, of course, Mr. Jake Spectails himself. What is going on, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Wow, don't all, jump
Oh,
at
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, of course. I do want to point out that you guys didn't let me know about the glasses thing. I'm the only one not wearing glasses, so thanks.
It's because you're a loser.
Wow, thanks, man.
Thanks, Beck.
You're welcome.
Inclusion 2021, man. Come on.
I'll try another pair on because I got two pairs here.
Yo, before the show started, Chris was like, maybe I should wear a hat. He put a hat on. I'm like, dude, I don't know if it's you or your son now. Like, he just aged like 10 years less. It's crazy. So,
I'll put it on later.
Thanks for joining me, guys. Lots to talk about, actually. And Chris, you gave me the idea here, but lots going on today, obviously. If anybody wanted to know, what color shirt Jake was wearing or his waist size, there was a good,
I had to turn the light on. I forgot I need a light.
Of course, CGC, but mostly the show is going to be hottest comics of December. Lots to talk about. Obviously, the Loki, the what's the show called? Oh, Hawkeye. Hawkeye was going on, right? So a lot of spec, a lot of books going back and forth. That usually happens, right? When these shows are on, that's usually what happens. So, nevertheless, we've got a lot of books to do with Kate Bishop and Hawkeye and stuff. But before we start, Chris, you gave me the idea, so maybe I'll, kind of give it to you. But CGC price is going up.
Yep. Not a lot. I just wanted to bring it up. I just thought it just happened 3 hours ago or 4 hours ago, and they just did a press announcement. And I found that everyone's shitting themselves on IG. They're just losing their minds. Like, I'm going to CBCS like they did before. But really,
You're not going to.
No, I mean, yeah, I think a few will. And you know what? CBCS isn't terrible. It's well worth, using. They're cheaper now, quite a bit cheaper. But they only went up like 5%, like 9% on one, I think on Express. These aren't giant gains. And then with inflation going through the roof right now, it was kind of expected. Even though I don't like to see it, obviously, I do a lot of business with CGC. So it just added to my credit card bill.
Do you think it's just more of the fact that they've just done this 6 months ago? So like basically 2 price hikes in 6 months.
I think yeah, for sure. Well, it's about 8 or 9 months. I think about 8 months. But saying that
it was April, yeah, okay, yeah, let's say
yeah. But saying that that's pretty quick. But I think if they would get their shit together and get their books out at a reasonable time and not break everyone's books all the time, because that's all I see on IG is people bitching about that. If they would have just calmed that edge down a bit before they did this price jump, I think people would be a little cooler with it and understandable. But right now, with their business model isn't working great, and then they just sort of price it up. I don't know. I mean, they could, we had a private chat with Ryan at Automatic Comics, and he basically said it right. They can do it. They can just do it, and that's that.
Well, and if I can throw in a comment or two here, I don't know whether or not it's accurate. And I've talked to Ryan. We've all talked to Ryan at Automatic Comics about it. There's something about the fact that they could be doing the price hikes are also in some way, shape, or form in an effect to cut down on the number of submissions they're getting, right? Like you sort of price yourself into a position where you're getting as many as you can handle, but not too many. Because right now, clearly they can't hire fast enough.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it's like down there in Florida where they're pulling apparently a lot of their talent or their talent pool. Maybe there's not enough. I don't know, but ultimately they're pricing themselves and they keep going up because, for some reason, the last price hike, it didn't deter enough people.
I gotta be honest with that in mind, Jake, I really think they would have to literally add $15 per book tomorrow for that to happen. I think $2 isn't going to stop anyone. It's going to annoy them.
I know people changed at the last price hike.
Yeah,
a lot of people moved. You were seeing more CBCS, and CBCS has already come out and said that they're overwhelmed, right? Jesus, who I do spec tales with, he does for Guaranteed Comics. He sends all of his books through CBCS for raw grading. And he said when he started, it was a couple of weeks for raw grading, and that it's tripled, it's quadrupled for raw grading. And that happened after the CGC price hike.
Wow.
And so, I mean, they're getting just completely inundated with books too. So I don't know. Maybe they're just saying, hey, the last price hike didn't do enough, hike it again. Or, you know, I'm sure the demand is dictating.
If you look at the sports card market, I think it was PGA, the big boy guys, whoever
PSA, I think.
PSA, sorry. PSA, they
don't
can't
even
get
have
a card.
They
canceled everything except for $100 and above.
Yeah.
And they haven't gone back on it yet. So it's obviously a business model that's working for them.
Here's the thing too, and I kind of said this when the first price hike happened too, is like, one, I don't think it's going to deteriorate like a lot of people from not going. Like I said, you know, we can all bitch this, that, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, if you're like, you know, not solely in this comic thing for flipping, I mean, let's be real. A lot of us sell comics. It pays for the next book or other books, right? But the market dictates that, you know, I'm going to get X amount of dollars more if it's in CGC than it is in anything else, right? So like, I don't think it's going to necessarily take a lot of people with it. I mean, like Chris said, I mean, if it was like maybe 20, 30 bucks more on each book, then yeah, I could probably see it because they'd be like, hey, what the fuck? But I mean, this small little change, I mean, I don't see a lot of people, you know, jumping ship. I think people are still going to do it. The other thing that I said too was, you know, there's a pandemic. A lot of people are home. You know, some people aren't working as much still. Some people are still getting money. Like I know in Canada we are. I know in some states, some people have said, oh, you know, there's still some stimulus money and this and that. And, you know, I don't know about you guys. Chris, you might know, but like where I am in Ontario, we're closing up shop again. We're on lockdown for 3 weeks now. So like stimulus money and things like that. So people are home and buying stuff. But what I've realized even in the first like wave of this, when CGC just got crazy, was that people were sending like fucking Ludocrats 1, like 10 copies of it to CGC, right? And when you have like, you know, 25 submissions coming in of like nothing, and I say nothing because it like maybe the book isn't nothing to me, but everybody has a book, right? But like there are a lot of people just sending ridiculous books that don't, you know, and then like there's people like you, me, and you know others who are like, man, I just want like this book, like I want my Thor 165 back, or I want my you know, like all these big books, right? So I think that also has a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah, that was a good point. I think the new books, right? When you see every, you know, Last Ronin book and somebody sends in 100 of them or something like that, those, maybe that's what the price points or these new price points are supposed to cut down on. They're not supposed to send people over to CBCS or get people to do that, but to maybe cut down on the number of books they're willing to spend money to grade. I don't know.
But isn't there businesses though
impacting like me because I don't send those books in?
Me either. Jake, there's businesses though that are exclusively sending 100 or 200 of every new book going. Like that's just what they do. Yeah, every week. God, that's what's killing.
I've said it multiple times. There's two guys I know here. And before, when I used to have like a half day Wednesdays, I would always go get my books on Wednesday afternoon, and there was always these two guys. I'm not going to name them out because I know some Canadians and local people watch. But there are two people that, you know, basically they, you know, they're like, hey, where are my books? They get them, they look through them, they push them back, they give them money, send them off to CGC, please, and then they turn around and that's it.
Yeah.
Every book they get, and they get maybe like 25 or 50 books, and they just say, yeah, no, ship it. And that's every week, two people. So those are the only two people that I see. So you can imagine that, you know, Joe Blow and John Smith, who are walking in being like, hey, can you send this one book? Hey, can you send these two? Like it adds up after a while. And then the guys like, you know, us who have like, and it's not to say, you know, oh, my books are better. It's just like when you're sending in, like I said, Ludocrats 1, like 10 copies of it, and I got like Thor books, like, you know, come on. Like,
yeah, come on, you think yours are better. That's all right. That's all right. You can say it,
yes, you do.
Better than theirs.
Oh, man, this is, oh, God. I should have just kept that comment to myself.
Yeah,
I saw your last submission. It's not that impressive.
Listen, I got 3 submissions. I have a really big one, and then I have one like more like futuristic, like kind of out there spec stuff. But yeah, so
I'm just bugging you.
I don't know. I'm still gonna be a CGC guy. It's not gonna kind of take me away from doing it. I think what they should do is make it international. Maybe have a Canadian office. Maybe have a West Coast in the U.S. office, and then keep the East Coast in Florida. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure they.
I don't think they need a Canadian office.
Do we lose Chris?
He's got new headphones.
I got new headphones, and they keep muting everything. It's weird. I gotta fix them. Don't get
It's only when he gets like really fired up. It's like, you know what I think.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think Canada needs an office. Like seriously, they need an office in the West Coast or just another American office to split it up a bit. Canada's the size of California. It's literally the size of a state. It's really not worth it for them.
Way to give us some street cred there, Chris.
It's true though. I mean, it's like population wise. I mean, size wise, we're much bigger than America.
You know, it's funny because there was 2 people that messaged me this video, and it's like Canada, and then there's like a line that's maybe 2 hairs from like the actual border, and it was like, oh, 90% of Canadians live along the border.
That's true.
And I was like, yeah, who didn't know this? Like who? Like
Americans.
The further you go up, it's just
because they don't give a fuck about us at all.
Everything north of the border is like Santa Claus territory, isn't it?
No,
that's fact. Yeah, that's a fact.
No, I'm pretty, dude. I'm Southern. I'm more Southern than Chris here, where I am.
Well, actually, you're as Southern as California.
What?
If you go along the line, you'll see.
Yeah, like Northern California. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Northern California, but which is weird if you think about it that way. But I actually, when I was a kid, we went to California to Disneyland. I think I was like 13. We were at a campground, like in our Winnebago, and I met these kids there, and they were like, "You're from Canada? What the hell?" And I convinced them we traded our cars in for snow sleds, and they're like, "Wow, that's amazing!"
Yeah, and then those people told their friends, who told their friends, who then had kids, and then that's why everybody in the U.S. thinks that we all play hockey and eat snow and live in an igloo.
We do a couple of those things.
That's what happened. So,
we do a couple.
Actually, to be honest, where you live, Jake, is probably a lot like Canada.
Yeah, Nebraska is a lot like Canada. It's the Canada of the United States. No, that's Minnesota. No. Honestly, that's Minnesota.
That's true.
Minnesota's pretty bad. Minnesota's pretty
North Dakota.
You know, if anybody here is from Minnesota. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's get to it. Hottest comics of December 2021. Before we get started, let's just say a quick hello to everybody in the chat. Dan Delatorre, what's going on, sir? Came in early, got the gold medal. Michael Baker, I'll take whatever medal I can get, just like the grades handed out by CGC. You got the silver, brother. Wesley, keeping it in Canada. Got to claim another bronze. Bleeker Street's in here. Pretty sure these guys are on steroids.
Fact.
Better be some USADA testing for these medals. Empire, what's going on, man? I thought he was talking about us, and I'm like,
okay.
I haven't been going to the gym lately. Sith Lordy, what's going on, man? He's back with the Spine crew. He's back to doing 7 to 8 hours. He just came back, so make sure you guys go check him out. Saturday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern time. Tim, what's going on, man? Tim just bought a few books off me as we were chatting. So what is going on, sir? AOA, how are you? Miguel, what is going on, sir? Dun, 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 dun. Spider Girl 69 _ got to give respect to that underscore. You're next. Later this year, the new tier prices will be 30, 40, 100, 1500. Bet on it.
I don't doubt it.
Pacino, what's going on, man? Pacino, myself, and BC are after the same book right now for our comic wish list for this year.
Which one is it?
Iron Man 55. So I told BC, I'm like, yo, you have to let me know if we're bidding on the same book, because I don't want to like upbid you or, you know, make the price higher. So we all have to like kind of communicate. Pacino's also in Canada, so big shout out to him.
What are the prices like on that right now?
They're pretty low, and I think I've located a raw one for about $400. It's probably like a 2.5, 3, but still, I mean, it's just one of those books to me. It means more, simply because it's an Iron Man thing, and like there's only like 5 Iron Man keys, so I figure why not just collect them all?
Agreed.
So,
Get the run.
yeah. You know what? It's cheap enough. I probably could.
The
Steve
keys
Bradley,
are probably worth more than the rest of the run.
yeah, probably. Well, you got 1, you got 55, you got 282.
What about the drunk issue? That's like the best issue.
128, which I regret selling. Fuck, I'm such an idiot.
You sell too quick.
Are you really an Iron Man fan if you don't have the run? Just asking.
Jake, who's your favorite character again? Captain America? Do you have the whole run?
Yeah, no, I do.
Who dat? What's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Happy New Year to everybody as well. And Johnny Dakota, what's happening? Another Canadian.
Johnny.
So yeah, RP's in the house. RP, just giving you a heads up. I'm pretty sure that January 30th in Mississauga, it's still not canceled 100%. There could be some capacity limits, so be on the lookout for that. Yeah, see who that's on it. Yeah, 221. I forgot about 221. 54. I can't remember what 54 is. 54.
Moondragon.
Oh, no. Is it? Yeah, I guess. You could also put in like 120. I don't know.
There's a few more.
Yeah,
there's some nice like early ones too that could be considered keys too.
I've been finding like Whiplash and like a lot of the big villains that we've seen, I guess, for like cheap, like the Iron Man. You know, it's not heavily sought after, so we'll see. All right, well, let's get it on. Hottest comics of December 21, gentlemen. Are you ready?
Let's do this.
All right, Jake.
I'm in.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. First book, and Chris, I know you've got a few, but Daredevil #9, Volume 2, first cover appearance and origin of Echo. It is actually not the first appearance of Echo. You were actually the one that pointed it out to me. New CGC cases. So if you've just recently received this book in CGC, you will see that the facilitation says nothing about it being the first appearance of Echo. It is not. But this one spiked way before the other book, which is number 11. Raw copies anywhere between $80 and $125 Canadian. 9.8 sold for $500 Canadian December 1st. That is 1 week before the show dropped. Or no, it was still going on. I think it was like episode 2 at the time.
Hey, guy, we're looking at, by just saying that cover, that's number 10, what you got on there.
Damn, I do have.
Yeah, number 9 has the first, doesn't have her on the cover.
Yeah, sorry. Wrong cover, but yeah, issue number 9.
We get it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Details.
Damn it, Jake.
Hey, Zeus, get out of the chat.
Yeah. Chris, where are your thoughts on this? Are you still, a fan of number 9 or?
Yeah, I am. I was a huge fan of 11 when I kind of clued in that CGC was switching gears on that, dictating that was the first appearance of Echo. So it was nice to pick up like 15 raw copies for $10 or $15 each before it kind of hit. But now 9/8 of that 11 are going for almost the same as this. And this book's dropped a bit. I think this is a deal. I think this is going to probably go down a little bit over the next 6 to 8 months, but like she has her own show coming and we're going to see her in other things. And honestly, she was an incredibly compelling character on the show. I like that show a lot. So I think that this is a win. I would personally wait till probably mid-spring to pick this up. I think it's going to go down a bit more, just simply because out of sight, out of mind. Yep. And maybe even this summer. And I think you'll be able to pick this up for $300. Get them. I'd get a few for sure. That's my theory.
Of number 9, not number 10, people.
Number 9. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to chime in and just say, well, one, the out of sight, out of mind, I think is a good point that makes a lot of sense. Something that I would point to if people are trying to figure out where they think the ceiling on this book is. Now, it's a lot more modern, but I would definitely take a look at this book. Is much more modern than what I would compare it to. But look at She-Hulk #1, right? It's character getting their own show. It's something new, something different. Look at what happens with She-Hulk #1, first appearance. And I would say now She-Hulk is considerably older, so I would imagine that price point for the 9/8 is going to be high. But I got to admit, I think it's been relatively low, especially with the show just about to happen, right? Like it's about to go off, and that book has not blown up what everybody thought it might or could.
We haven't seen her yet, though. That's the thing. Once we see her, I think everything's gonna.
If they were to drop a picture of her tomorrow, right, just like an arm, She-Hulk, that book, like automatically right now, you'd be smart to almost buy a 9/8 for whatever the price is. If you even just wanted to make a few bucks, the second that happens, it goes up. Like that's just what happens. It's out of sight, out of mind. We know these characters are coming. Same with Moon Knight. You could probably buy Moon Knight now and still make money.
Well, it's still expensive, but making money on it. Actually, Who Dat Comics and Movies has a great point. Echo TV show is code word for Daredevil Man Without Fear TV show. And I think there might be some truth to that. You might get this character being pulled up literally because Daredevil's association to the character. So I think there's a lot of room for it. I guess I was just saying, look at what happened. Jessica Jones is another one, another good character. But I would say, look at what happens with She-Hulk. What's the % increase on that book when the show hits? That's the type of % increase I would at least estimate for an Echo character.
Well, hold on a second, because we were talking about 9. I know the cover's 10, so if you're just joining us and you're seeing 9 and 10, we were talking about 9. However, number 11, the first appearance of Maya as Echo. Open the book, people. It is a weird ass cover because you got those like little babies or whatever. Like I always just thought this was a weird ass cover. Spiked obviously because of the show, and then like Chris said, CGC is saying that this is the first appearance of Echo, but you can't go wrong with 9, 10, or 11. You might as well just get them all. 9/8, we're going for 398, so let's call it 400 Canadian at the beginning of the show. This is probably the winner out of all 3, though, right?
And somehow the worst cover
of
all 3.
I like it. I think the cover's awesome, personally.
What?
But yeah, it reminds me of Jeff Darrow stuff. Like
it reminds me of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like they just won the ticket, and like the Oompa Loompas are singing. Like it's their time to sing a song.
I'm not arguing with Newbie on this one. I don't have no taste. I'm not a huge fan of this cover.
Dude, I'm very biased when it comes to white covers too, man. I love the white covers. I like white and black covers. I think they're great. But this one is just fucking weird, man. Like look at the one in front of like what seems to be, their midsections there or their adult parts. It's like this weird.
You're spending a lot of time looking at this.
Right? It's just weird. I don't know.
Can you zoom in on it?
No, I'd rather not. I'd rather not. But this one, same thing, right? I mean, this is probably the one that's going to pop the most because this is her as Echo, right? This is the first full appearance of Echo.
I think, honestly, this is, if you go out into the wild.
Oh, yeah, damn it, Chris.
See, he was going to get mad there. He was going to get, do you go in the wild
I go Hulk rage. I think this, you can still get this book for 10 to $50, depending where you find it. It was a nothing book like 5 months ago. And I think this is the great winner of this run, personally. And I think it's going to just get bigger and bigger. And honestly, if you could get a 9/8 at $400, I think that is a great deal. But I don't think this book's going to take as much of a hit over the next 6 months, simply because it's lower priced. I think people are going to adjust to this one. Everyone's going to be moving over to this one as the key, personally.
Right, yeah.
But that's more theory than anything. But yeah, I think this is great. I think it's a great book to get. Get it, everyone. Jake?
I mean, I don't love the cover, but kind of reiterating what we were saying before on the previous one, and I think it just goes doubly for this one, as people start realizing this is the first full appearance, or however you word it, this one goes up. and the characters getting their own show. You can compare it to whomever you want as far as characters that have gotten their own show, but look to another female lead character like She-Hulk, run the percentages. Where did She-Hulk start? Where did they end? What was the peak? That percentage increase might ring true for Echo.
I agree. AOA said something interesting. Echo and Maya, there isn't that much of a difference. Agreed, fully. But when you go online and you go to Google and you look up first appearance of Echo and this book comes up and people are investing in a book, this becomes the first appearance of Echo eventually.
Especially because the show is called Echo.
Echo, yeah. And
right?
I think
it's not called Maya, it's called Echo. That's the title and the mantra that she's going to be taking in the mantle. So for those reasons, and you know what, Chris, you probably know more than say maybe myself and Jake, because you've been submitting more to CGC than most of us, but CGC rarely comes out and says, oh shoot, no, it's this book. Like we were saying it's this book, but now it's this one, right? So there's obviously a reason.
Never. Almost
right?
never.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
They also did it with Journey into Mystery 102 with Balder the Brave. They made that the first appearance.
Yep, they made that the first appearance too. Yeah. So
recently.
Well, you can. Prime example, Cletus Cassidy. Are you collecting Cletus Cassidy's first appearance, or are you collecting Carnage's first appearance?
I say that argument all the time too. Yeah, 361 is what I'm getting. Yeah.
Well, you're getting.
I get both. That's me. I think it's cool to get both.
There's nothing wrong with getting both, but one of them always prices higher.
Of course.
And you can make the argument over the validity behind getting the first appearance of the person, or the character. It doesn't matter. Like, it's up to you. I'm simply saying, for me, the long term, this one is the one that prices higher in the end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The next book that we're going to talk about kind of reminds me of the Red Guardian book. I don't know. I mean, it's an early enough book, and I feel like it's still a good book to have regardless. But from, say, maybe an investment or like a flipping side, like if you were banking on this next book to maybe get you a few more books or a few dollars, I think you might have lost. I don't know. It's still a cool book to have. But we got Avengers 19, first appearance / cover of Swordsman. I mean, it was a lame-ass character. He reminded me of a religion teacher, because I went to a Catholic school, high school, and like that Jack guy, the way they portrayed him just reminded me of my religion teacher, and it was just very, I don't know. I would like giggle and laugh, and my wife would be like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "This is my religion teacher." Like, that's him.
So the Swordsman, a guy swinging a sword, reminded you of a religion teacher, a Catholic religion teacher.
The tan and like the hair with like the mustache to like here, and the way
I thought it was the swinging the sword thing that got
right. Like it was just like, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, but I thought it was lame. I mean, I like the relationship that we got at the end, right? If you haven't seen the show, I apologize, but like, the relationship between him and Kate, it worked out in the end, but it was a lame ass character. So if we're looking at the numbers at just before the show kicked off, 7.5 sold for about $600 Canadian, 9.2 sold for almost $2,000 Canadian. Episode 2 or episode 3, no, episode 2. So that's crazy. But again, a character that's right in our faces. We hype them up. They get crazy. I'm kind of interested to see where this book is in, say, like 2 months.
Well, where's Red Guardian now?
I don't know, man. That's not a book. I mean, I remember people
It fell off the edge, but it got hyped for a little bit.
It's a great time to buy Red Guardian, though.
I love that cover. I still love that book. I like the cover of it.
These Red Guardian and this one is basically, if you look at it, like if you had them side by side, I mean, you got them in the middle, you got basically nothing around them, and then their name like right there, right? Like it's almost the same cover in a way, right?
It is.
Right? It's still early Avengers though. Keep that in mind. It's Avengers 19. It's still very like I would love to have it.
That's a fucking awesome cover too. Yeah, it really is. I have a little theory on this book. I think the book, I wouldn't go near this book right now. Like, wouldn't touch it. look at those prices; they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'd wait till a year from now, but I think there's big plans for this character where they wouldn't have hired the guy they hired. I think he could turn into like a bad guy in the Thunderbolts or something like that. A villain that could turn up in another place. I don't think the world's done with the actual swordsman because we never saw the swordsman. We only saw the guy.
Yeah.
So I think they're sowing seeds for down the road. So if for this book, I think right now it's severely overpriced, but if you wanted to, I'd go after it in like 8 months to a year. You'll get it for nothing.
Sorry I put that in there. I mean, I speak my mind when I do my I had to put late night character in there. So Chris, just before Jake says anything, do you think it's a coincidence that they kept showing the kid? So like he was saying, I forget the name, it's like Jack, whatever, but they kept referencing the kid. They kept showing him. Even in the last episode, they showed the kid. Do you think that maybe down the road we see the kid as a swordman?
I don't remember that for some reason.
Because they said he was like Jack the Fourth or Jack the Fifth, right? So
yeah. I don't know enough about swordsmen to really be a master of all this, so I don't really know. I don't have an answer. Sorry, Jake.
I would say just riffing off of what you guys were saying, I think the character has a lot of room for improvement.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And it's not unlike Disney to throw out an option, in something, and then they don't do like full straight on retcons, right? Unless Terrence Howard was the actor in the previous role. But I do think that they could retcon the character to make it a little bit more accessible or cooler, right? Like that character was not interesting to me at all. Lame ass character is probably the best way to describe the character.
Oh man. Hey, big shout outs to Ramirez who just came in. What's going on, brother? Nemesis Prime is in the house. What's going on? Two of my favorite podcasts. So we got Specs Tales podcast and the Comic Com podcast, both. So make sure you guys, as much as I always talk about that one, make sure to sub and like both of them. Great podcast, great comic content. I always say comic as in like a comedian. So sometimes I always have to be like comic. Yeah, I don't know.
In the house.
Swag in the house?
Yeah,
hey, Swag. What's going on, man? How you doing? All right. This one is still heating up, but I mean, guys, let's be real. How many times did we see this book in the wild in our lifetime? This is one of those books that like was a nothing book for the longest time. Even after they announced that this character was showing up at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, it did nothing. But we got ASM 365 and Spider-Man 2099 #1. First appearance of Spider-Man 2099. Now, again, depends what side of the coin you're on. Some people have the book to the left, the ASM book. It's a previews. I've owned it. I've never really opened it, so I don't know. But this was years ago. Man.
You're such a reader.
This was years ago. Hey, at least I'm honest, okay?
True.
I bought the book I'm talking like 2013, 2014. I just thought it was a cool cover. And then never opened it, but supposedly it is a previews inside, right? It's previews into 2099 #1. So I mean, it just depends on which one you believe or what the market is. I think you can't go wrong with either of them because they were literally
they're giving them away.
Yeah, they were literally giving them away like a year ago, not even a year ago, maybe 8 months ago, right? But yeah, I don't own either. Obviously, the white one for Spider-Man 2099 #1 is the mega one, right? Because it's more rare. It's the one that comes with the toy and this and that. 9/8 and that are going for about $3,000.
Damn.
Really?
Yeah.
Bad investment.
Yeah. Well, the red one, I mean, it's hard, right? Because it's that foil. So even the red one there, it's super hard to get in high grade.
Yeah, true.
Right? So
I don't know. I'm old enough to remember. Well, I mean, I went looking through my collection somewhat recently and was like kind of collating what I had, and I found 16 copies of the issue 1 in my collection, and I don't know why. I don't remember buying it. I don't remember how I got them. I just have 16 copies. That's how prevalent this book is. It is so overpublished. Yeah. So I can't get my head wrapped around the idea of it being worth anything. Same with the other one, the Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know. I mean, I don't really bet on the animated stuff. Like, there's no way in hell this will ever be a live action show. Ever. Quote me. Ever. And if it is, I mean, I quit. So, but it's just I think it's another one of those books that people they were getting cheap, and there's enough guys that are promoting the shit out of it because they got a stack of them for $5 each a year ago, and now they're just like, they're trying to promote the shit out of it, show it off on IG, show it off everywhere they can, and it's working. So
Chris, you're saying that
Justin, I'll bet on that.
Even if the character just, jumps off the screen in the next Spider-Verse movie.
How?
What do you
He
mean?
will. No, he could be cool in the Spider-Verse thing. Sure. He's actually a cool character.
The character is so good, they demand a live action version.
People are
They're not going to dilute a giant franchise, $1 billion franchise, with like a second tier, frankly, like piece of shit character compared to the original.
Look at how quick now with the rumors of the Spider-Punk guy are, and people are like, wait, what? Miguel who? What? Like, they're all on that. Like, people just, it's just next, right? So like, I don't know. I'm kind of with, I don't see them doing this as a live action because we got Holland going into college. We still got Venom going on. Miles is supposedly like, I just don't see it happening yet. I really don't. Super chat here. Hey, good stream family. If I had $400-$600 burning a hole in my pocket, what are some good spec /PC books to buy? What would be a good single book? $400-$600. Appreciate that super chat, brother. That's a good question. Anybody want to give our friend here an idea?
First appearance of Deathlock. Astonishing Tales 25 in whatever grade you can get for $600. That's what I would buy.
I mean, I've got a copy of that book myself, and I feel like that book is on everybody's like, I'll get it later list.
Yeah.
Yep. Always has been too.
It keeps going up.
Yep.
Not a bad one. I was, let's see. I mean, the first one that came to mind for me was Journey into Mystery Annual #1. If you can find it, even in a lower grade.
That's like a fucking $1,200 book.
No, not if you find it. You can find it in a lower grade, which it's a hard book in any grade, right? As far as it's just
True.
a difficult book to get.
Yeah.
So even finding a low grade copy is well worth it, because as soon as Hercules drops, the book is going to go nuclear, especially with how few of them there are.
I think Heir to the Empire, Justin's right here. I think this would be not a dumb book to get.
Yeah. Okay. And then Swaggle is saying a sub-1 mid-grade, which that one, I mean, I do believe, I hate talking about Submariner just because, well, Jake knows.
He rules. I love Submariner.
No,
I had one here.
I like the character too. It's just,
does it bother you that he's in a Speedo, Newbie? Does it bother you?
I like it.
Listen, it's 2022, so I mean, whatever. I just hope that when the character does show up, he's not in a Speedo, because it'd just be like, hey, why are they in like Siberia fighting and like he's in a Speedo, right? Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense to me.
What was Submariner's first Silver Age appearance? Which one was it?
FF4.
I can't afford it. Number 6.
I'm just trying to dig this knife deeper into Newbie's wound there.
Uncanny Swag is saying Fantastic Four Annual number 6.
Ooh. All those Fantastic Four annuals, though. All the Fantastic Four annuals are just pick up the run. Damn.
That is, honestly, and Chris knows how I feel about this, but those annuals have been so undervalued for so long. Like, people are always just like, oh, it's 2 and 6, and they didn't realize like the rest of them. But like, man, I love that run. I'm trying to complete it, so I got 4, 5, 6, 7 right now, and 10. So
actually, I got another book for this list. I would probably, if I had 600
US, it's US.
Yeah, I would probably get a low grade raw ASM 129, like 2.0. I think you could get that for that price.
You believe in that book, even though it's been like, delayed again?
Punisher, first Punisher? I think long term it's like
Punisher. Sorry, I thought you said
ASM 129. Yeah.
Right.
I'd probably go that route.
I think the Punisher book, yeah, and another one where I agree with you, Chris. I think that's one of those covers that is damn near bulletproof, right? The world could go to complete shit, and there are going to be X number of covers that just people are going to still want, even if it's cut in half, right?
Yep.
That one's one.
Yeah, that book is getting expensive now, but I don't think it's even gotten near where it's going to explode like Hulk 180. Well, not quite Hulk 181, but it's going to be. You're going to see big explosions of that book in the next 5 years.
I'm going to toss one more out there. I like Nova 1. I think that it's a good book.
What's Nova 1 at a 9.8 right now?
I think that was in the 2000s.
I think it's.
I haven't looked at it. I haven't looked at it in a while, just because.
Yeah.
But that book, seriously, a year ago, I know you can always quote old prices, but a year ago, I feel like I was looking at like a 9.4 or 9.6 Nova 1 for like $300.
Yeah, they're cheap.
And the price has gone up significantly, but I like Nova. I like Nova somewhere coming into the MCU. I'm not sure which version of Nova, but I think they'll start with the original.
Yeah.
So 2K. So 2K US. So about 2,800, 2,600, I would say, is a good ballpark for Canadian for a 9.8, which is ridiculous because I remember a year and a half ago, 9.8s were like $680 Canadian. Like,
yeah.
And I remember being like, no, that's too much for a Nova. So it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I have a big fat stack of those going to CGC right now.
What's up, Newbie? Stop by to say hey. Great chat, great content. Thanks, Carlos. Appreciate it, man. Hey, if you guys don't know who Carlos is, make sure you guys go check him out. Carlos collects comics. He's got a wicked Instagram page. He's going to be doing some auctions, hosting it. So make sure you guys go sub him up. Make sure you guys go check out his channel. He's a really nice dude, and he loves comics.
Yeah, and that's a great idea. Low mid-grade of Hulk 180 raw is for that price. I don't know if you could get a mid-grade. You could get a low, but I don't think that's a dumb idea.
No, Hulk 180 is a smart investment. So hopefully we gave you
maybe too many options.
SWP. Yeah, we gave you too many, but yeah, those.
He probably left a while ago.
No, he's still here. He was right.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, he put the comment. Yeah, so he's probably buying them right now.
He better be.
All right, this one was a fairly newish book. This one kind of exploded.
Brand new book. Just came out in December.
Yeah.
Wow. I know about this.
It's kind of like, okay, I don't know too much about it, but basically it's like animals running the world or something like that. Jake, it seems like you maybe know a little bit more than it. Animal Castle #1. It's spiked. Raw copies are selling anywhere between $25 and $55 Canadian. It's only a matter of time before we see this book on my comic shop and graded everywhere in 9.8s. But yeah, this one just went out of nowhere. This one took a bit, right? This one, I think, you know, obviously they come out on Wednesday, but you didn't really hear about this until like say Friday, Saturday when it really picked up steam. So yeah, I missed out on this one. I didn't have any copies.
I don't want to jump in front of Chris, but Chris, you say what you think, and then I'll chime in after.
This book is bullshit. No, it kind of is. I think it's probably one of those exciting right now books, and then about 6 years you'll be like looking at how overpriced it is sitting in back issue bins everywhere, and everyone's got 10 9.8 sitting in their collection collecting dust. But
Matrix is saying that it's selling for $17 now, so it's clearly gone down.
Oh yeah, okay. But from what I've been told, it's actually an excellent story. Like it's an excellent read. So I kind of want to read it. So I don't know. I probably would buy it to read collected. So I probably wouldn't buy it at all. I'd buy the graphic novel. That's where I stand with it.
$25 on release day?
Jesus, really? Why? Why? I don't understand why.
That's just no offense. That's a bad LCS. That is a bad LCS.
Yeah, I agree.
Chris, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, I'm gonna say that you don't know jack shit about this book at all.
Awesome.
Okay, no.
Awesome.
So first of all, it's Animal Farm. It's just a redoing of it, and Newbie, you were right on there as far as that comment. As far as there's a French version. This is literally just. It's like what we did.
It is.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
what we did with The Office, right? Like they did it
Oh.
first over there, and then we were just like, "Hey, this is good. Let's do our own version." Which I bought the book. The interesting thing for me was I went into my LCS and I have a pull list, but I always go and check out what's on the shelf. And there were only 2 of this book left on there. And I went up, I was like, what the hell is this? This looks interesting, because I had flipped through it, and my LCS, they were selling it at cover price, and basically said that the book was kind of came out of nowhere. And you're right, Newbie, like it took a few days for it to pick up some steam. It is not, I don't think because of the publisher, and my LCS said that he couldn't even get very many copies anyway of it. I don't think there's that high of a print run.
No,
it's not a common publisher. Ablaze, I believe, is the name of it. I know there are a publisher. They publish books, but it's not a huge print run. And that cover is very hard to get clean. Yeah. It's an all black cover, and the paper that they printed it on, it creases easy. So I picked up a copy, and then I noticed my LCS had one more a week later. And at that point, so my LCS has a rule. They sell everything for a full week at cover price. What? After that, oh yeah, if it comes to their store, they sell it cover price for the first week.
Man, I know that every shop in an hour radius from me, tomorrow, a big book, Thor 20, first appearance or cameo, depending on what side you are, that comes out tomorrow. And every shop is like, no, we don't have any. We don't know. We didn't get enough. No. And I know tomorrow or Thursday morning, they're going to put it up, and it's going to be a $60 book, a $30 book. And that's all they're doing. Like the one shop was like, no, Newbie, we don't really have a lot of Thor. Like, it's not a run that a lot of people are picking up. And I go, why do you have Thor like 6 to like this? And why do you have Thor like, like all these different runs? I'm like, you're lying. Like, just be honest.
I got a question. Do they actually call you Newbie to your face?
One shop does. They go, Newbie.
Oh, that's awesome.
Everyone else just calls me Joel. And I'm like, all right, cool, man. Whatever. It's whatever they want, man. It's,
My shop doesn't price anything up for a week. Now, after that week, they put it up to whatever it's going for on eBay, and they're pretty up to date. But they do good prices for the most part. I always say that they're competitive, especially even for their back issue stuff. But the next week, they had one copy of that left, and they were selling it for $30, and it sold. Now that said, I love the book. I read it. I thought it was amazing. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous. I highly recommend it for anybody who wants to read the book. I don't know what long-term value this has. I don't particularly care. I'm just reading the story.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll buy the collected. Uncanny Swag needs to find a new shop.
Yeah.
My shop will list them all on eBay. You need to go to another shop.
I had a shop like that, and I went to another shop ASAP, man. Yeah. Well, this one, I know a lot of people missed out on when it first came out. Wicked Magneto cover. However, when it first came out, a lot of people didn't realize, it's the first appearance of America Chavez. Who's America Chavez? Well, she's going to be in Doctor Strange 2. Obviously, if you've seen Spider-Man No Way Home, she was in the trailer. There's a lot going on with her. This book was always just pretty expensive. Like, even before they announced it, mean, and 9/8 were always up there in the 800 to 900 range. When they announced the character was going to be in Doctor Strange, it went up to like 12 to 1500. And then now it is just crazy. She's a future character, right? Like, they are building this, the young people, and she is going to be one of those future characters. She's going to be around for a while. So, expect to see this book in a lot of places, a lot of people selling it, flipping it, wanting it, because the character is just going to be a character you grow with. I don't know, man. I'm not really willing to spend that much money on this character, to be honest with you. I mean, I get that, she's going to be in the future, but this has always just been a character that, I didn't chase it. It's never been around me. I've never been able to get a good deal on it. So it is what it is.
This reminds me of Bloodstone #1. It was just expensive because I think it's a tough to get book regardless, isn't it? I think it has a pretty low print run.
Yeah.
16.5 is what the commenter just said, Tim.
Yeah, that's ridiculously low for a modern book. And
Damn.
yeah, I remember it being really hot before they even announced her. I personally wouldn't pay $1,500 for this book, but I might, be eating those words in a year, I don't know. It's just priced out of my world right now, considering I just know so little of the character. But I do think the character is going to be a big deal after Doctor Strange too.
I think that's interesting because tell me how many people. I mean, I know people know who America Chavez is, but I don't know a lot about the character either, right?
She's
I don't know.
that does this.
But there's I don't
that's-
know. Is it
that's
does-
it.
Outside of that, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what her powers are. Right? Like,
she
I'm with
punches
you.
portals?
She what?
Doesn't she punch portals? Like portals into different dimensions. She has the ability to punch a hole into.
Oh yeah, that's why she's in Doctor Strange too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if I was if she robbed somebody and I went to attack her, she would punch portals.
She can punch portals into different dimensions. I mean, you're thinking like straight up Doctor Strange can, create a loophole.
Oh,
right.
Gotcha. Okay.
But she literally can punch portals into different dimensions. I believe that's her power. Again, that is the extent of my knowledge.
But saying that with the multiverse, I mean, just theorizing here with the multiverse kind of kicking up and a lot of options there with Kang and stuff, she could be very important over the next 5 years in the MCU, which would drag a lot of attention towards this book.
Yeah.
I think it also kind of depends on how well she works in Doctor Strange. I mean, we've seen Disney does that, right? Like, if the character doesn't go over super well, they could just rewrite how they handle the storylines later. They'll write around it if the character is not popular. That said, I do think they are pushing for this to be a hit, a hit character. So, but if they handle it the same way they handled the Swordsman, nobody's gonna like the character.
I know me. I'm never gonna buy this. I just simply because I missed the boat, and that's that. If I come across a raw copy or something one day, I might acquire it, but it's just I just missed the boat.
Her second appearance is heating up too, just simply because there's not many America Chavez books out there. So a lot of people now are not really going after this book because, once you pass that $1,000 threshold, I mean, it does limit people, right? And we are in a pandemic and some people aren't working and this and that. So a lot of people are gravitating towards that second appearance, which is also a Vengeance book. It's Vengeance #2. So be on the lookout for that one as well. There is a market for second appearances, but what I find and similar to Echo, right? Like, there's not many covers, there's not many books with the character, so like, grab them all, especially if they're cheap, right? So all right, Captain Marvel 17, first appearance of Phyla Vel. Super hot book. Just a few months ago, it went from $250 Canadian in a 9.8, and overnight it just jumped to about $600. I believe now it is past the $1,000 threshold in a 9.8.
Really?
I believe so. Yeah. I have one at CGC, which I know is going to be coming back a 9.8. I'm going to be pissed if it doesn't. But rumors of the character showing up in Thor, Love and Thunder are really, spiked. Raw copies, $75 to $150 Canadian. It is just a crazy book. There's a book similar to this, like Captain Britain book, but this is a really hot book. I think it's only going to get hotter, so be on the lookout for that. Do any of you gentlemen own the book?
I do. I oddly enough, about 2 weeks before it exploded, I bought 5 copies of it on eBay, and then I bought 5 of these.
16, so the cameo. Yeah,
I bought both. I just covered my bases, and because I actually like this, but they were cheap. They were really cheap, and they all came out.
The problem,
they're all really in nice shape.
The problem though that I have when I see that 16 is I always think of Martian, the
Marvin the Martian.
Yeah, that's who I always
think.
Always
exactly what I think every time.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't invest in that book because of that?
No, I'm just saying that's what I always think of when I see that
fair
book.
enough.
Yeah.
But I think this book's a smart buy. I don't know if it's a smart buy now. I think it was a smart buy 3 months ago. It's
You're
really
going to be
expensive.
holding, right? Like you're going to be holding until the
Yeah,
Thor
I'm holding
movie?
it. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not flipping these anytime soon. It'll take 10 years to get them through CGC anyway. But
10
the way
years
that
and like 10 pounds of gold.
exactly,
They're
and
just
$100 in each page. But yeah, I think this is a great book. I really do. I think raws are still plentiful and around and fairly reasonable. And I would go raw on this. I wouldn't buy a graded
Yeah.
copy. And I would
I
get
was
your
able to
own.
find mine raw for about $60, and it was like 9.8.
Nice.
So
Yeah, I was in the same boat. I think mine were cheaper just because I got them a little bit earlier. And really, I just pure luck. That was it. But the character itself, there, damn headphones. The character itself, I think, has a lot of potential for sure. And I'd like to see her in the MCU.
yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm with Swagglehauss on this one.
Really? I didn't even know $600 for her first appearance, that Avengers 259.
Well, that's the first appearance as Nebula as we know her, right? Like
Yeah.
the way she is in the MCU,
trying
not
to
the
think
first Nebula ever.
I'm trying
But
to think of the
either
first
way,
one.
I guess I don't know enough about Phyla Vale. Phyla Vale. I don't know enough about the character. I saw this book popping off and I was like, why? You know, what's going on? What is the book? What is the
Yeah, why
character?
is it popping? Was there a reason?
The rumors of Thor Love and Thunder, but the thing that I like about Swagglehauss's comment is within the same price point, you are getting a character that is already proven in the MCU, a character that is already cemented in all the stories we've seen and we know is going to play a role in the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy, a prominent role, right? Not just we don't know. Phyla Vale could be in 5 minutes of Thor Love and Thunder. We have no idea. Doesn't make it a bad investment. It's just an investment I'm not willing to make. I'll probably put my money elsewhere.
I don't disagree with him. I just wouldn't pay $600 for this book. I think it's ridiculous to buy it for 60 raw. That's the only way I'd buy it right now.
There's a few people, and Swagglehouse's comment is, Nebula is I think AOA said, forever undervalued or undervalued forever. I think Nebula is. I just have and the same way that Jake said, she's a proven character. That's the thing. Nebula's been around for like 5 to 6 movies already. So like, at what point are we going to see her transition to maybe, out or something else? Like, clearly they are getting ready for this next phase, and clearly certain characters aren't going to make the cut, right? Like, we're not going to see, Nebula forever. So I don't know. The Nebula's books are very cheap. So, I mean, Nebula is just one of those characters that I always thought, you know what? I'll get it later, in a good way, in the sense of like, I'll get it later because it's probably going to go down cheaper, right? Like, at no point is anything Nebula for an investment side, right? Like, at no point is that book going to go up. I
appreciate that you said it that way, for an investment, right? And I'm sitting here talking about, because I'm definitely more of a collector than I am a reseller. I don't sell it as nearly as many books as what you guys are doing. So what's going on, Black Crown? So I'm just I'm talking personally.
Yeah,
I'd rather have.
I've got her origin story or Nebula's. Like, I went to that warehouse like last summer and I picked up like 25 copies for $1 each. Like, I think Nebula, I like the character. When we think of OG characters, I mean, she didn't really start off in like the 07, but like she is a character that we all know, right? So I do think that there's going to be some value there, say like 25 years down the road when, they do a 25-year anniversary or like like it is going to be a character that's always going to be in like our age group and like, the comic community, right? So yeah.
And when they reboot the whole universe in 20 years, she'll probably come back.
I just can't, like, they can't do another Iron Man in my lifetime.
They will.
That's all. No, don't say that. Please don't.
I think they're going to reboot it all in about 15, 20 years. After they're done with the Galactus saga and all that, I think they're going to reboot it all. With all new characters. What?
Galactus. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, but that's still a ways away, man.
I know.
It could be 20 years. Yeah. I'll probably be tits up by then.
All right, next one, and a lot of Spider-Man rumors, obviously because of that Spider-Man or Spider-Verse 2 trailer. A lot of people, man, again, we just dissect everything frame by frame. But Spider-Man India #1, I am not even going to pronounce this name. I don't want to offend anybody. I just don't know how to say it. And I don't want to offend anybody in the Indian culture there. But first appearance of that character.
PP.
PP, sure. PP.
Okay.
Obviously, in the trailer for Spider-Verse 2, there is a segment where he's traveling through a portal or whatever, or a different universe, and like there's Indian music, and people thought, oh shit, this character is going to show up. So this one spiked right after that trailer, even more than what it was already. Easter eggs, like I said, Indian song in the background, raw copies anywhere between 60 and 180 Canadian. 9/8 are selling for about $900 Canadian.
Jesus.
That's crazy to me. Like, that is crazy. Like, I don't remember this book ever being that much, like, even a few weeks ago. So yeah, this is just crazy.
As a collector, I think the oddball characteristic of the book is something that really turns me on. I like books like this. It just seems like such a bizarre book. And I'd like to have a raw copy in my collection for sure. But those prices are crazy. Like $30 maybe.
if you look at this one, if you look at Aranya, so like Amazing Spider-Man, like the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man, like just all the different versions of Spider-Man lately, if you go and look, all these characters from different nationalities and stuff are taking off right now. Like the price points are just crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't like betting. I mean, if you're talking investment, I wouldn't bet on this simply because I don't like betting on animated movie stuff.
Mhm.
But that's just me. I understand why other people would think differently, but I think this is a cool ass book. I just think it's really, really expensive. It's shockingly expensive, but the print run must be like legitimately low.
I would think it's probably low. And, if Tim is still in the house, he's usually the guy that busts out the numbers on the print runs. But yeah, I can't even tell you what year this came out, but I could imagine it's a low print run for sure.
That cover's like shit. It's a goofy cover.
Trying to figure out what was all happening on it.
Yeah. It's like John Woo directed it.
That's not very nice.
You know what I keep thinking about when I see
talking about?
You know what I keep thinking about? Because they're really like advertising the Peacemaker show up here in Canada, like a lot. So like every time there's a commercial, they're always showing it. And there's always this one line where there's like this African American guy go, "Yo, what's up with the eagle in the back?" And then John Cena's like, "Yo, that's my sidekick." And like that's all I think about when I think about this. I think about like the bird, that American bird that's just like, strutting on the street with them. Like, just yeah. Jake, do you own this book? Have you ever owned it? Have you seen it? What are your thoughts on it?
No, I haven't owned it. I knew about the character prior, and I gotta say, I'd like to read it, but I'm not paying that much money to get it in my hands. I don't necessarily see this as the first book I would think to invest in, but I will say Spider-Man transcends. Like, that character transcends and makes money. Like, it just, all it does is make money. So Miles Morales makes money. All the different versions of Spider-Man make money. And so, I mean, if you're interested in specking on this book, there are a hell of a lot of worse books that you could spend that much money on, I think. But in general, I'm not doing it. Although I am interested to read it. I'm intrigued.
Me too.
Like I said, 60 to basically $200 Canadian. You can get a raw copy. So
yeah.
It just depends. It's interesting though.
I've personally never seen this in person. Like,
no, I've never seen it in person either.
And you don't know what year it came out? Anybody?
No, that I don't. I'm sure somebody in the chat would. Yeah, I'm sure somebody in the chat would. If I had a guess, I'd probably say 16 or 15. Just got that vibe. I don't know.
Oh, I think it's before 2010, isn't it?
You think?
I feel like it is.
All right, let me retract my answer then. I'm gonna go with like 07.
How long's Marvel been doing that? The
logo up there?
That particular version of it with the.
I don't know.
I think that's more recent.
That's a good question. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right. Let's go on to another Hawkeye-related book, another fucking beautiful book. This is probably iconic as hell. Iconic
Best Silver Age cover ever.
Yeah, like just it's up there in so many categories. Oh, so 2005. Okay, hold on. AOA is saying that book came out in November 04.
Holy
Steve
shit.
is saying January
That's a-
05.
Yeah.
So one of the two. So
Samsonite. I was way off.
yeah. Way to go, Jake. Jeez.
Jesus, Jake.
ASM 50, first appearance of Kingpin. Did it really break the internet though? Because a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, it broke the internet." Showed up in episode 5 at the end, obviously, and then in episode 6, we basically got Kingpin throughout the whole episode. Him in his Hawaiian shirt on Christmas Eve in New York City, so that was interesting. I don't think he got shot. Like I said, I think the Echo show is gonna start at her waking up in the hospital or her waking up in the alley by being shot from Kazi or something. I don't know. A lot of people are like, "Oh, he's gonna Kingpin."
He got shot. There's a comic that
I know, but I just don't think that that's the route they're gonna go, man.
I think it'd be awesome if they did that route. They like put a bunch of steroids in him and made him like a super. Anyway,
I just don't think and I know the comic, and I know because like there's a lot of people that are like, "Newbie, look," and like I know the comic, but like I just don't think that that's the route they go. I think Kazi didn't die and he shot her or somebody shot her, and then she's gonna wake up either in the alley or she's gonna wake up in the hospital, right? That's just my opinion. But this book, if before the show you had any doubts, this book right here is probably out of reach for a little bit. Now, there are some YouTubers and there are some people saying, don't pick this book up right now. It's kind of done or this or that. I don't know, man. I think you can't go wrong with having this book, especially the second appearance either. I think they're both good books and they're only going to go up simply because the character's done. So we don't know when we're going to see him next. So this is kind of that dip, I think. So in the next little bit, in the next few months, say 2 to 3 months, I think that there could be a little bit of a dip. But you got to be careful because I think BC is saying in a 9.4, it's 32,000. I'm not recommending anybody get that, but I mean, those lower grades, I think you could get. Still a dope book to have. I would love to have this book.
My turn?
I don't think this book is worth getting unless you can get a 9.4 or above.
I think you're crazy. I'm going to throw it on the table.
Like gold?
This is my favorite Silver Age cover ever. Like it just is. I don't know why. I just love it. And I love the splash page on the interior. It's incredible. And I just love this book so much. And I don't have a copy. And I hate that everyone wants it right now because it's so fucking expensive. So as a pure comic collector, this is one of my top 10 books I want right now. Yeah. And honestly, I think most collectors of Silver Age should either have this book or want this book. It's amazing in every way. Also great character. Investment wise, I don't know. I think long term, it's a great investment. But I think short term, maybe not because it's probably peaked right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
But who gives a shit? It's a great book. I'd buy it. I'd buy this book anytime. I think you can always do well with it down the road. I love it. Jake?
Yeah, I was just screwing around earlier. I love the book as well. I have a fun story. I actually had an opportunity to pick this book up literally it was sitting in my LCS for, I want to say at least a month, if not longer, just sitting in the case. It was like a 3.0. They were asking like $200 for it. Like great price. But here's why it sat there for that long before somebody actually bought it. It had the worst tape pull I'd ever seen. The placement of the tape pull was like right over Peter Parker's head into the back of Spider-Man. It was like you were paying $200 for that tape pull because that's all you could look at when you saw it. It completely distracted from the whole cover. And every Wednesday I went into the shop and I was just like, that book's still here. And I told myself I'd buy it if it was still here, but that tape pull is really ugly. And so I just kept saying, I can find myself a better copy of this book. And I never have. And the book ended up selling, of course, because that book doesn't stay long anywhere.
Yeah.
Especially when it was priced. It was priced really well, in my opinion. I kept looking at it. I just couldn't couldn't pull the trigger on that tape pull. Damn it.
The thing that I think is very interesting, and again, I bring that up because like me and Face were talking about this, and I know he was talking to the comic kingpins about this, but no pun intended there, comic kingpins, and we're talking kingpin. But they are clearly building the street level world.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
We got Daredevil. We got Spider-Man looking old school. He's still in New York. You know, there's possible rumors of Punisher. We got Echo. Elektra's probably gonna follow down the road. You cannot tell me that you can have these characters street level and not have Kingpin. So the fact that there's not just YouTubers but people out there being like, "This is a terrible book," maybe they're just trying to drive the price down so they buy it. But the people saying that you should sell this book and this is nothing and don't wait, like
this has never been a terrible book. Even
no, 100%.
after the last Daredevil show was canceled.
Oh, this book,
not even for
this book
investment.
transcends speculation.
Yeah. But there's people out there right now saying that, and people are like, so I want to be the first one to say no. Like if you have it, don't sell it, hold on to it. Whether it be for investment, you're probably going to make good coin on it down the road. But this is one of the best Silver Age books, in my opinion. It is not my favorite, like Chris said, but it's definitely in my top 10 for sure.
Oh yeah, at least. Yeah.
All right, maybe a better conversation as far as villains go, right? Because a lot of people will tell you don't invest in villains, things like that. This book may only be second to Dr. Doom's first in terms of villains.
He said it. I agree. Yeah.
So
I put Galactus after this book.
Absolutely.
Like FF48?
49.
Yeah.
I was just trying to see what you would say.
FF48 is going to be first Silver Surfer. I mean, it depends on how you really look at it.
I think first Galactus is 49. I've always
40 is 49.
Yeah, I agree. But either way, I'm putting it behind this book.
I agree. Yeah. Jake, we agree.
Which is weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Who dat is saying ASM 14. I disagree. What is ASM 14? That's the one before
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin.
I don't know, man.
I don't think I put that cover above this one though.
No. It's a great book to have, 100%, the Green Goblin, but yeah.
I ain't saying not to invest in it. I'm just saying you got Dr. Doom, which is I guess I don't know. I guess you can argue the potential of a villain being a better first investment than that, but I don't.
He's the most blue chip villain you can get in the Marvel universe right now, in my opinion. Like
yeah. And then I would put this one just in general. I would put this one next.
Yeah. And again, you can't go wrong with Kingpin. They're clearly building the street level stuff, so it's just gonna keep going up in price. So if you really want this book, I think, in the next couple of years, you're probably going to be priced out of it. So this is one that you maybe don't want to say, I'll get it later, because the more they keep showing stuff like the Echo show and the more they keep bringing in these street level stuff, this one's probably going to go out. So just before we go on to the next book, Black Crown's got a good question. ASM 50 or Avengers 8? I'm going ASM 50.
50.
Yeah, totally 50.
Yeah. I think 8, like our good friend Ryan at Automatic Comics says, I mean, down the road, that book is going to be cheaper. So I'd probably could get that cheaper down the road if I wanted to.
No, I'm not sure I'm going to agree with that, though, because the Silver Age itself is just, as a whole, it is a continuous incline on Silver Age books.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kang, is it going to come down a little bit from where it's at now? Probably. But in general, I think all Silver Age books are on the incline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like AOA, it seems like he's agreeing with me. Yeah. Kingpin touches Punisher, Daredevil, Spidey, all those stuff. So who knows? Maybe even Moon Knight, you never know. She-Hulk, right? You never know where they're going to connect these things. So we'll see. All right. This next book is going to be very fun. I'm interested to see what Chris has to say, because I know Chris doesn't really go modern and he doesn't really go newish. But we got Timeless #1, cover K, because you have to know that it is cover K. It is the Timeless variant #1. Miss Minutes on the cover. I don't know if I'm pretty sure this is her first appearance on the cover. Nothing outside of that, but this thing has been spiked. This one came out last week, and it is just keep going. It is at a $40 to $45 now, selling.
Flip. That's all I gotta say. Is it? Sorry.
Nope, you did it again.
Yeah, I'm back. Is it not a first appearance? No.
I don't think there's
Or
any first
anything?
appearance in it. It's just Miss Minutes on the cover.
It's a cute cover, but who gives a shit? I mean, I don't know. I say flip it, and that would be that. I mean, hey, maybe it's got a great story, like the greatest story ever, like Kingdom Come or Dark Knight Returns, but I doubt it. So that's where I lie. Jake,
Honestly, when I saw this thing floating around, I thought it was like a poster. Like, you know how people like you watch,
Yeah.
you watch like
Yeah.
Loki and you're like, oh, hey, they wanted to put that on their wall or something like that. Like, it, you know,
it's
like
a cool cover.
It's you know, it's cute. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and I liked it as an aspect of the show, but I didn't realize that this was a cover that was commanding $45. So, no, hey, I tell you what, if this is your jam and you want to put this thing in like a CGC slab and you just want to put it on your wall, cool, go ahead.
But I will say, if you got $45, hit me up on IG and I'll give you a list of books you could get for $45 that aren't this book. That would be a lot more fun to get in your collection.
Probably.
Like Invaders books. Invaders are awesome.
Sorry, I forgot when we were talking about the significance of the book. Actually, it is worthy to note that they are bringing in Miracle Man in this book. So people were, and that's why a lot of
really? Well, that's a little miss. I would buy the shit out of this book then. Miracle Man is one of my favorite characters ever. I love that fucking character.
Wow,
that's a big miss.
Sides there.
Yeah, I'll buy this. I'm gonna go buy a copy. Yeah, I'd spend $45 on this.
Wait, why?
Okay. This is his introduction. His introduction to the MCU, or not the MCU, the Marvel Universe. Is that what it is?
I don't know. It's just that they brought him back in this issue. Now I don't know what bringing back means. That's the only thing. I haven't been able to read it. I wasn't paying $40 when it first came out, so I don't know anything about the book.
I'm gonna buy a copy after I research it a bit and find out the facts about it. But if it's got Miracle Man, I think Miracle Man #1 by Eclipse is one of the most undervalued independent books going right now. And you can buy stacks of them for $5 each. Just throwing it on the table. Because it's just a matter of time before Marvel gets their shit together and does something with them. He's a great character.
All right, cool.
All right, yeah. It's just his logo on the last page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so is that a first appearance
of Miracle Man
in Marvel, in the Marvel realm?
Oh, I thought
they reprinted a bunch of stuff. I know, but I don't know if they did any new stuff. I don't remember. So, but
that's why a lot of the Miracle Men stuff really popped, and you might have seen people posting them on social media and stuff like that.
I saw some of that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
because
why.
of that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I better get some graded.
It's noteworthy, I guess. Sorry, Chris. I forgot to mention that. I know you're big on Miracle Man. Yeah,
I love Miracle Man.
I should have said that. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'll tell you, if they do him right in the Marvel universe, he could be a big fucking deal, a big deal.
Reprints in 14-15 with Marvel, but this is the first reference of him in Marvel Comics.
Oh yeah, I gotta pick this up. I flipped on this.
This is just on cover K. You don't need to get this particular cover, right?
No.
That's
you can get any.
You could get cover A or B.
I probably will. I prefer cover A's anyway.
Or D or E.
You know what's funny, Chris? When I go back to look at it, like, you know how like Everett's got the karate chop when he got excited? Like, I feel like you got that, like the switch. What the fuck? No, I'm definitely getting it then. Like, it was just like a split second, but you're like, no, fuck this. Sell. I'm fucking getting it. It's just 180 there. Holy shit.
I've been known for my passion.
Yeah. So fuck. Oh man. Yeah, that was it. That was the hottest comics of December. Any book that you think maybe was hot didn't make the list. I mean, I know people are like, well, any book on cover price, but I mean, I usually touch on, the books that everyone's talking about, everyone's posting, the ones that are like, we kind of go, oh my God, we need, the FOMO kicks in or a show going on. But is there one book that you guys might think, was a hot comic in December that you guys want to maybe touch on?
I think I have one I'd like to talk about. We've talked about this book before. Submariner 13 is the first appearance of a character named Gargantos.
Yep.
And you and I have been buying them for a while. But they just recently showed a bunch of promo art with the word Gargantos on it, and the trailer came out, and it looks just like him. Everyone wants him to be Shuma Gorath from Doctor Strange issue 10, I think, because everyone invested into that book heavily. And it isn't, it's Gargantos, and that's that. And it's funny because people are really fighting it. Like I'm seeing posts of people like trying to explain it away and shit. Yeah. It's fucking hilarious. So I feel bad for people that bought into Shuma Gorath stuff, because those books got expensive. Whereas you can still buy the Submariner 13 for
it's been
under
like,
$100.
You'd be surprised at where you find that book, because again, Submariner is not something that people, outside of issue number 1, it's not a book that people go out of their way to like look for. Like,
yeah, agreed.
People usually go to S for like, I mean, if you like Superman, but like people usually go to S for Star Wars, and then that's it. So
skipping over, yeah. I agree. I don't know about books that were hot in December, but if you're playing the speculation game, there's something fun that you could do. Look at, we were talking about, hey, don't buy Kingpin or don't buy the stuff that's happening right now in Marvel. Wait like 8 months. Well, if we go back 8 months ago, you're looking at characters that were in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? Yep. Go back and look, which characters were big. Peggy Carter, not Peggy Carter. Why am I spacing? Sharon Carter. Sharon Carter. Go back. Honestly, go look at the first Falcon. Go look at the first Falcon. It is cheap. Well, not cheap. I mean, it's relatively cheap.
Yeah.
I've been buying that first Joaquin.
Juarez.
I forget it. Yeah, Juarez. I've been buying his I bought a 9.8 recently for nothing. Yeah, and I think that book is going to be worth a fortune in about 5 years.
Yeah, that's true, man.
It's worth. I got it for like $205 for I think it was less than that. It was like 180 or something like that.
Wow, that's actually pretty good then. Yeah, because obviously he's going to be around. So
yeah, but I mean, I think he's going to be the next Captain America after whatchamacallit puts his thing down. I really do.
His thing down.
His thing down. It's Shield. Whatever. Shut up.
It looked like you were DJing or like fucking putting your hand in honey.
Submariner 50 is undervalued. It is undervalued. I think all the sub books are still undervalued. I don't think people believe in it yet until they see them.
You know what's funny is go look at the stuff that you were maybe specking on or got hot during Loki or WandaVision. Yeah. That shit is crazy.
It's great.
Agatha Harkness right now. It is literally again a character that we know is coming. A character
but that book popped off again when she got her own show.
Yeah, but it's still cheap. Like, why wouldn't you get it? Again, another case of like it's right in our face. We know it's coming, but we're like, even though we know what the characters basically looks like, what to expect, what her power, you know what I mean? Like, we already know. Yeah, people are like, nah, I'm gonna wait and see, right? It's like it's just mind-boggling to me, man. It's crazy. And then people wonder why they missed out, right? Like, I'm like, what do you mean? You didn't grab it. You kept saying, later. So
do you guys ever worry like I remember when everyone was doing what we're doing right now with CW shows back around 2012. And there'd be like, if King Shark showed up in Flash, everyone would buy the fuck out of it. I'm just making up whatever character. And the book would go through the roof. Not to the levels we're at here, obviously, but still they would go through the roof and people would really spec on it. And then one day people were just like, okay, I'm done with CW. And they just stopped investing at all with it. Yeah. It just died. Do you think there's going to be a?
Yep.
I do think you're going to stop. Yep.
Sorry, I had to turn off my thing. Do you think there's going to be a backlash soon with Disney Plus and the sheer volume of stuff happening in the comic investment market?
And Chris, we've talked about this, and some people, maybe quickly forget, but just before the pandemic, we only got 3 to 4 things. We only got 3 to 4 movies. And when you needed to wait for the sequel, you basically had to wait like a year and a half, 2 years for it, right? Like it wasn't like the next thing. So like you basically, if you were connecting everything, like it made it not like it made it hard, but like the spec and like the oh man, what book to, like it almost was not better, but like it was just so much harder, right? Where now it's like they've come out and said, hey, you know, we're opening up all these new worlds. We want a show pretty much every month. We want a movie every like 2-3 months, right? So like I always say it. I'm like, you know, do you think that there might be a fatigue? Like and it happens in anything, not just comics, right? Like you eat a lot of Kit Kats, guess what? One day is going to come and you're not going to get a Kit Kat. You're going to get a Wonder Bar, right? Or an O. Henry, right? You eat hamburgers for a week.
What the hell?
What? Come on, man. You eat hamburgers for a week and you know, on the 8th day, you're probably going to get chicken fingers, right? Like it's just one of those things. It happens in anything, fashion, food, you know? So like, I don't know. I hope it doesn't, but
that's why I stick with the older stuff, because the older stuff like transcends it. This stuff we're talking.
I agree with that. That's why I love the Silver Age. I love the Bronze Age too.
Yeah.
Golden Age is pretty pricey.
I use modern. I use modern to my advantage to, like, I reinvest in the book. So like if I know, like, you know, Timeless. If I was ahead of schedule on that one, ordering that one, I mean, yeah, I would have bought like 10 copies and sold it for $40, because then there's $400 that I can go and buy a nice Silver Age book that I want, right? I always try to invest back into the hobby. I think that's a thing that, you know, people always kind of put a dark cloud over people who do that. But I mean,
well, if you're buying, I respect people that do that. If they're buying just to do that.
DC's comment there.
What's that? For a week, you do pants. I just hear him in his accent saying that. That's hilarious. But I hate seeing people that are only like flipping books and then they have no plan with it. It's just like just cash in their pocket, and I don't know why, but I actually like look down at people like that. I shouldn't, but I do. I like people that have goals within the community, and like you're going after TOS 39, as I like to call it.
I have an announcement to make. It's going to be shortly. I have a big announcement to make.
Really?
Oh my God! So you're teasing us with that, and now we got to keep talking.
I'm just saying. I got an announcement to make in a little bit. So.
Wow. Okay. Well, anyway, I like meeting people that do flips to get those books they want, and I think it's a fun way to get, you know, the hobby working for yourself. So.
I agree with that. That's exactly how I go about doing it. Right. I aim for the books that I want, and I will trade, sell, whatever I need to do to get there. And it's not always easy, but that's part of the fun. And speculating is a part of it as well. I think when it comes to fatigue, I would say the thing that's going to go first are the secondary characters in TV shows.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing, you know, people get very, very excited about a secondary character, and a minor book will pop or something like that, and you're like, I think we're going to see a lot less of that, because money isn't going to be going. It's just not going to be flowing.
Jake, I think it goes back to like what the conversations that we were having not too long ago, but like nuclear, right?
Yeah.
So if there was like a nuclear war tomorrow, what books are actually going to like be worth something? I don't think that like your Timeless one is going to be worth anything. I don't think your first God of Hammers is going to be that worth that much.
It's going to become like toilet paper. Right? Like there's a ton of books that are just literally going to become what you used it, what you burn to, you know, what you're burning to keep warm, or what you're using as toilet paper. But like, if you're in desperation mode, you know, like
what's to cook a human body?
What's the last book you're going to use as toilet paper? If you like, you know, that's the one that's going to survive.
Yeah. And that's true. Right?
Yeah,
I totally agree with you. I totally agree that those secondary and those third characters, I mean, I don't think they're gonna last. And like when fatigue hits in, and I get it, right? Like it's easy for somebody, you know, in the chat, people are gonna be like, no, man, you can't get, you know, fatigue. And it's like, yeah, because you're a fan, right? Like you are a fan of comics, you are a fan of comic books and the movies and anything that has to do with it. But eventually, science and history has taught us everything's a circle. So it's going to come a point where you're like, no, there's too much. It just happens anything. Music, food.
I will say we've never seen what we've seen right now with Marvel. We've never seen a company invest so heavily into TV, like a level, like huge budgets into this stuff. They're creating an interconnected universe that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
So I don't think this fatigue's going to happen right away, but I could see it in 5 or 6 years.
I just know, like, when you talk to people who aren't say in our community, right? Like I know like coworkers of mine, right? They'll be like, hey, you know, like what did you watch, right? Like I remember the finale of Hawkeye a few weeks ago, right? I'm like, oh, you know, I'm watching my show, it's a season finale, and some people were like, oh, what's the show, right? Like them thinking I was gonna say like Chicago PD or something like that. And I was like, oh,
Chicago
Hawkeye.
PD, I love that show.
Dude, you know what, I love the boss, like that older guy. I always tell my wife, I'm like, I want people to like think of me like that guy, and she just laughed at me. And I was like,
but you actually watch a show called Chicago PD? I thought you made that up.
No, it's like
that's a real.
It's actually a show.
It's a real
That's
show.
a real
Yeah.
show. Oh, it sounded like some placeholder thing.
No, man, it's a fucking show.
Wow.
So yeah, and my
generic.
wife just like laughed at me. She's like, "No, that's not you. Like you're not that guy." Like after 30 minutes of laughing on the ground, she like got up and she's like, "No, nobody would think you're that tough." I was like, "Okay, thanks, babe." Yeah. But like people, like to my point, I would say like, oh yeah, Hawkeye, and then people are like, like Superman, like superhero stuff. I'm like, superhero, yes, not Superman. And like a lot of people are like, oh, that stuff like that still goes on. Like it's hard to get like those outsider, but like a lot of people just have that like, oh, they're still doing that.
But they are alienating. They really are. I mean, in a small way, because like I had a similar conversation at my office literally today where an engineer was like, I tried watching a Avengers movie and I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, well, what'd you watch? Something with like a big metal guy lifting up a whole city. I was like, you watched Age of Ultron? And I was like, had you seen the previous ones? No. Well, how many are there? Well, to get to that one, or how many total? And I was like, there are 27 total Marvel movies. I'm not watching 27 movies to understand one. But like, and this guy was just like, I'm out. Like, just happen out. But if you
want to say those people, fuck them.
But yeah, I also told him, I was like, well, you picked Age of Ultron to start with. That's not
not good.
Yeah, that's like picking to watch like Iron Man 3, like to
just like pick something.
I like Iron Man 3 actually. I don't mind it.
Somebody was trying to.
I'm just saying, like that's where you're starting. There's like you're already behind.
Listen, my wife did the same thing though. Like I think her first one was like Guardians of the Galaxy, and she loves Guardians of the Galaxy. Like
that's a pretty good one to start with, though.
Jump in on that one.
It took her a while to like understand. Like that was I was like, it's a comic, right? She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's a comic. Like it's Marvel. Like look at the end. And then like, oh my god,
she like it?
Yeah, she loves it. She can't wait for the third one. She's like, she's always said, she's like, for that one, I'll go see it with you, right? And I'm like, well, I mean, we'll see. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I can't promise you, but
you don't want to go into the theater with a non.
You know what's like the hard part? Like I love going with her because like, she supports it. Like she doesn't necessarily like this stuff, but like she knows how happy it makes me. But the thing is, she is the type of person that she's sitting there and she has a question. She's like, and then I'm just like, I don't even like look at her. I'm like, no, I'm focused on what I'm doing. No, you want me to? No, ask me later, right? And that's just like our rule. But like, she gets like, she's watching me. She's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on or who's this, right? And I'm like, no, I can't explain. I don't have time. Like, my eyes need to be on the screen, right? So,
I'm super lucky. My wife likes these movies as much as I do. Like, she can't wait to go see a new Marvel movie when it comes out. She enjoys them when they come out. We watch them together and really enjoy it. The problem I have is, like, my daughter could give a shit about this stuff. And I'm starting to sense my son's feeling the same way. So
do you think it's fatigue or not? Because the other thing
they got other stuff. They'd rather play a video game and watch YouTube at the same time. Like, it's not enough. It's boring to watch like one thing.
But to that point, I was gonna say, like, a lot of the shows that I've gone to that have like actually happened in the last couple months, what I've noticed is there's a lot of people who are dressing up as like these like video game things, like this anime stuff. Like I feel like that's kind of taking over. And I don't know if anybody's like realizing that, but like that stuff is taking over where like say comics was like 5 to 8 years ago. Right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I can see that. It's just I don't know. I'm so little to do with it that I'll never really understand it fully because I'm an old man.
So who dat? My wife hates movies. Sucks. She treated me. But when my daughter loves movies, can't wait until I can take her to Marvel movies. My wife always asks me what the story is before each movie, so she'll have an idea. Yeah, I always kind of give her like a game plan, like, all right, this guy's taking over and they got to fight somebody. Maybe somebody dies, right? And then
Just say hardcore porn sarcastically and leave.
well, hey,
Every time.
No, you can't say that because remember, Eternals had a sex scene, right? So
yeah, it was so
I don't think you
hardcore.
need to put that in there. Like it really was
really.
a sex scene.
but
Not
that's
really.
what I mean, though. It wasn't, but it was.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there
They
was
blew past barriers on that one. Jesus. Did you guys see? You guys saw Eternals, didn't you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I wanted to like that movie so much. Like I really want because I loved the Eternals.
You were pretty high on them, man. You were
Yeah,
very
I was just
high
really into it, and I just love the comic, and I wanted to live like I wanted to love that movie, and I just couldn't. And I don't hate it. I just wish it was half as long and more stuff happened. But whatever.
I really
You-
like.
wait.
where
You
the
say
movie
you
ended
wish it was
up,
half
though. Like
as
where
half as long.
the world that they ended up in.
It's
At
great.
the end of Eternals, I really liked where they got.
too.
Like they knew where they were going, and it's
They should have started there.
Yeah, they probably should have, right? Like,
Yeah.
The aftermath of it would have been more interesting than the actual storytelling of it.
There was just too much of like I like the fact that they answer a lot of questions and they explain it, but there was a lot of scenes where I'm like, why is this 5 minutes of them walking in this hill? Or
Well, they're selling it as like there's more depth and texture to the storytelling here, and really there isn't. It's just dragging shit out is really what it was.
You know, it's funny is so my wife and I also went to go see Spider-Man No Way Home, but we also went to go see Eternals, right? And she goes flat out, she goes, do you think that there's gonna be like a sex scene like Eternals in this one? I go, no, I don't think so. I can't see this having a sex scene.
Well, it's gonna be hot.
Oh man,
he's wearing spandex.
Oh, jeez. Fellas, I do want to thank you for hopping on. I'll let you guys plug your stuff away. Jake, you actually have some interesting news, so I'll let you go first tomorrow.
Sorry, Chris.
Yeah,
hey, my news actually involves Chris a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's true. It does involve Chris
a little bit. Right. Okay. So thank you, Newbie. Thanks for having me on. It was very kind of you. Spec Tales is a podcast that I co-host with Jesus, who is from Guaranteed Comics. If you're on IG, I'm at Omega Red. He's at Guaranteed, and we have a podcast called Spec Tales. We did our 25th episode recording last week for kind of we call it the giant size New Year's special, where we have 6 guests on the show. Newbie, Chris, Vancouver Comic Junkie. We also have Black Crown Comics on. We have Jason. Yeah, Jason from Certified Comic Shop is on. Brian from Tacos and Comics is on. And then we have a secret super special guest that we are not revealing the identity of, but he's really cool. Chris.
Well worth it.
Yeah, he's really awesome. Chris was actually on with the special guest. He got, Newbie, you were first. Chris was last.
It was level of importance.
Chris was our very first guest ever, so he got that treatment at the end of the show.
Of course.
Right?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There was no racism there, or, anything. But,
Racism.
Anyway, so it's a huge episode coming out tomorrow, but the probably bigger reason why, if you're listening now, you are going to want to jump in on it is we are doing a huge giveaway for the episode. And the only way you have to qualify is just listen to the episode. That's literally all you have to do to be entered. Well, you have to listen to it, and then we're going to give you a secret word. You take the word, you message us on Instagram, and you're entered. So it's pretty simple. I think it's pretty entertaining. And the prizes, so we, in the last 6 months, so like a 25th episode, 6 months worth of episodes, we've had 4 artists on the show, and we decided, so we're giving away 5 prizes. 4 of the prizes we're giving away books by the artists we had on our show. So Ice Cream Man, the first trade, Proctor Valley Road, the first trade. We are doing Stray Dogs, the first trade, and then a book called Man Plus, which was written and illustrated by Andre Lima Araujo, who is the artist that was on our show. He's also the artist. Yeah, it's a crazy name to say.
Araujo.
He's also he also does the artwork for A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. If you're interested in that, if you like that, that's a current book running right now. That's fantastic. So we're giving away all those, but the grail, the big grand prize, we are giving away a 2.5 CGC slab of Journey into Mystery annual #1.
Wow.
So, and like I said, so that it starts tomorrow, and you have 1 week. You have to listen to the episode, find the secret word that's in the episode. We'll tell you what it is. And then you just message us with the secret word. That is all that it is to it. And Newbie and Chris, unfortunately, you can't win.
Damn it. But I will say this. I want to say this to the audience here, because we've all been here having a good time, and we might as well give them a little leg up. The secret word is throbbing. Just so you know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that.
See if that works for you guys. Send us.
It isn't. It isn't.
Send us on Instagram. Just send us the word throbbing. See how that works.
Capital letter.
It's a great thing though. You guys are giving out a lot of good stuff, and that grail is fucking dope. I'm kind of jealous. I might pull that evil Doctor Strange thing where like somebody who looks like me that just dresses in black kind of is like, hello, I would like to apply for the book.
My name is Jolene.
Something. It reminds me of you know what that just reminded me of as I was doing it again, because in our group chat we always go back and forth with The Simpsons. It just reminded me where like Homer has to go to the postal office. He's like, hello, my name is Mr. Burns, and he's like, I'm here to pick up a package. And they go, oh, okay, Mr. Burns, what's your first name? And he's like, I don't have one. I don't know why that just kind of triggered in my head, but yeah. If you guys want to know the key to my heart, it's usually like Simpsons like one-liners. I just love them, and I found out that Jake and Ryan at Automatic Comics is the same way. So it's kind of funny. I don't know. Just have Sean McVay send a message Newbie. Chris,
who else? Sean McVay.
Sean McVay is the head coach for the LA Rams. He was also the offensive coordinator in Washington. Me and Sean McVay?
I think that's what the
No, people think I look like Justin Timberlake or like Ryan Reynolds.
That is definitely really not true.
No, it's weird, man. It's like people are like Ryan, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what?
People think I'm the Beebs.
The Canadian in you. That's why. That's
yeah.
McVay is Bender's twin.
I told you.
Yeah.
Chris, just before, not to say yours wasn't important. I just knew that,
No, I appreciate
that.
Oh, no. I was just bugging.
But Chris, what do you got coming up? Let the people know on your channel. I know you and I discussed a few things you wanted to touch, in the YouTube world, in the new year.
Yeah, no, I nothing crazy. I just have unboxings coming up, and I'm going to start doing, like, we were talking about doing like a hangout like this, just a bullshit like thing on a Friday or a Saturday where we just talk. And I'm finding that a lot of people want that, are enjoying it, and we actually get to talk with everyone, and just not structured, just kind of a talk and about what's happening. I just think the topics that we talk about are just going to hopefully relate to the collector base out there. I just like to do that more often than I have been. So I've been very derelict with my services at the Vancouver Comic Junkie channel, and I would like to change that for the new year.
Yeah.
So come on by.
Again, follow them on Instagram and their YouTube channels, Vancouver Comic Junkie and Spec Tales Podcast. So make sure you guys go tune in. Don't forget tomorrow, Secret Word, the podcast, the big grand show. I will be posting about it. BC will be posting about it. Chris will be posting about it. Everybody will be posting about it. So make sure you guys, if you have a few minutes, go watch it. I think it's 87 minutes, right, Jake?
87 minutes. It's on any podcast, if Spotify, Google, Apple, literally, if you listen to podcasts there, we're on it.
Yeah. So make sure you
add a lean 87 minutes. You kept that train moving.
Oh yeah, we wanted to make sure that it was streamlined.
I was like cut off, and I'm like, what?
We cut off.
I think that was on purpose.
Like Chris got cut off, but that's because he never got cut.
I wanted to get cut off like in a cool way where I'm like, oh Jake, I want to thank you.
No, I wouldn't have
something like
stopped. Like, if you start a sentence with that, we're not stopping.
All right, gang. Thanks so much for tuning in, fellas. Thank you for hopping in today, man. I had a lot of fun. Always do. Chat, thank you. I will see you guys Sunday. Wait, what day is it? Yeah, today's Tuesday. I lost track of fucking
Tuesday,
day.
yeah.
I will see you guys Sunday in the Newbieverse for a rebranded show. We're still going to be doing new comic book day, comic news, and all that stuff. It's just a little rebrand. So look forward to seeing you guys there on Sunday. Make sure you guys go tune in. Vancouver Comic Junkie, Jake at Spec Tales. Later.
Thank you.
See you guys.